Welcome to Community Corner. I'm your host, Melody Callihan. Joining me in the studio today, I have Miss Ella Jordan and Mr. Brandon Nance, both of our local vocational rehab, and they are here to talk about the services that are provided and an awareness event that's coming up that is very important. So, thank you both for joining me today.
Thank you for having
Great
us.
to see you. Now, both of you are natives of Columbus County,
Yes.
right? So why don't we begin with each of you just introducing yourselves?
Okay. I'm Ella Jordan, Unit Manager at Vocational Rehab. I'm a proud 1997 graduate of Southeastern Community College. I continued my education at National University Online with a business degree and then moved on to Webster University to get a master's degree in counseling. I have been with VR for 25 years and became unit manager in December of 2020.
You and I actually had some classes together
We
when we
did.
were out here. And Brandon, you, like I said, you are local. You graduated from East Columbus High
I
School,
did.
is that right?
Yeah, 2004, and I got my master's degree from East Carolina in 2010, and I've been with vocational rehab for 12 years now, and glad to be back here serving the citizens of Columbus County.
Wonderful. Well, I appreciate y'all coming in to talk today. Let's dive right in. Tell me about vocational rehab. What type of services do you provide? What is vocational rehab?
Okay. Vocational Rehab is a federal and state funded program that assists individuals with disabilities with their employment needs. So we help you build a path towards gainful employment. And we also offer employers pre-screened candidates.
Okay.
And I'll let Brandon tell us a little bit about services.
Some of the services that we actually do offer are medical services. So anyone who needs a surgery, or not anyone, but just someone who has a chronic condition that meets our eligibility requirements. We can help with what we call physical restoration. If they have a mental condition, we can help out with mental restoration. That's what we call it, basically mental health treatment. And then other services that we offer are like college training, on-the-job training, and assistive technology.
So the goal is to help everyone, all of your consumers, to be gainfully employed and provide them whatever resources and support that they may need along the way.
Absolutely.
Tell me about the eligibility requirements.
So the eligibility requirements is that the disability has to be chronic in nature, and that varies depending on what disability it is, but it has to be causing what we call substantial impediments or limitations to employment.
Okay.
So if they're not able to go to work because of this condition, we serve all kinds of conditions. Going back to physical, mental, there's also learning disabilities that we serve, and intellectual disabilities. Substance use disorders are another one that we also serve. So we help those individuals figure out how to get themselves back in the workforce, so they can live independently and work independently and basically live a life on their own that is of substantial, meaningful activity.
Right, and you have counselors in the local office, but I understand that you also have counselors at our local high schools.
Yes.
And the purpose of those counselors are to...
So the counselors in the high schools, I serve East Columbus High School, and we have a school counselor in South Columbus and another one at Whiteville High School. And those caseloads are vacant right now, so if there's anyone who is...
yeah, we're hiring.
Yeah, we are hiring.
Most definitely.
And those counselors, they bridge the gap between high school and college.
Gotcha. Now, are the services, all of the services that you provide, are they free?
No, all of the services are not free. Any job services are free, and then we have certain services that are cost eligible.
And you had mentioned training. We here at Southeastern have partnered with Vocational Rehab and help train the folks that you are servicing as well. And Ellie, you had mentioned that there's also a training facility in Greensboro?
Yes, we have a training facility in Goldsboro, North Carolina,
Got that
and
right.
it's called WorkSource East, and they do vocational trainings. We have construction, automotives,
patient care, pet care.
printing, and food service,
Yeah.
and child care.
Mm-hmm.
And child care and the personal care aid, I think, also partners with Wayne Community College.
Okay.
So they actually be certified, but it allows students that do not fit into a traditional college setting to still be able to have a college experience. So they actually stay in Goldsboro at a facility and attend WorkSource East to complete training, and they work at their own pace.
Okay. So it's important to point out that the services you provide are not only for adults,
Correct.
right? It's both student. Now, what age group? When we talk about student, is that just high school age?
Yes, we generally start working with students the end of the 10th grade year or the beginning of the 11th grade year.
And those services can continue on.
Yes, until once we take an application on you, it continues on until they are have completed their training and actually started working.
So speaking of application, when someone comes to your office seeking services, walk me through that process. What happens?
Okay.
So when you call us, our number is 910-788-5200, and we're located at 615 South Madison Street, next to Tropical Tans downtown. And so you can call, you can walk in, and you can let us know if you would like to apply for services, and then a referral is given to the appropriate counselor, depending on what the condition is and the age. And then that counselor is responsible for contacting the consumer and setting up an appointment to take an application. And they sit down just like you and I are talking, and we figure out what you need in order to get back to work. And we then, after we obtain records, medical records basically, to determine eligibility, we move on into the next phase, which is what do you need in order to be successful on the job? Do you need additional training, or do you just need activities related to employment, like working on your interview skills? And then after that, we develop a plan for employment, and we implement the services that we found out what you needed in that previous step.
So once gainful employment is secured, is that where your services end? Or
no, once they obtain gainful employment, we want to make sure that they are successful on that job. So we follow them for at least 90 days on that job to ensure that they are stable and that they understand their job duties, and that if they need anything in the interim, we're here to step in and help so they can be successful on that job. I think it'd be a little premature to cut it off right there as soon as they start. So
you're on your own now.
Exactly. we don't throw you to the wolves.
Yeah.
We'll
That's great.
follow you along.
Well, that support is needed.
Absolutely.
And if they're on a job and something happens, the job closed or they lose the job, they can always come back to reapply for services.
Okay. So it's not just a one-time
It's not
kind
a
of thing.
one-shot thing.
Now, financial assistance. Do y'all offer any types of financial assistance? Is that part of the services that you provide?
Financial assistance, as in paying for tuition, like the college will
Yes,
pay
ma'am.
tuition and fees. Some of our support services is we help with, your transportation. We purchase work clothing. Like if you're going to work and you don't have the proper attire, that we will help with that. Or if you come to us and you express that you don't have interview clothes that are, appropriate for interviews, we help with that also.
Okay. So there's an awareness month coming up that y'all are here to also talk about. It's National Disability Employment Awareness Month, and that is recognized in the month of October.
Correct.
So tell me a little bit about that.
Okay. It's also called NDEAM, and NDEAM celebrates the contribution that workers with disability have in the workforce, and it also showcases supportive and inclusive practices, employment practices for employers. And each year, NDEAM has a different theme that it focuses on.
What's the theme for this year?
This year is disability part of the equity equation. And we basically just want to showcase how an inclusive and diverse work environment is so important, and people with disabilities need to be seen out in the workforce because they haven't for a very long time.
Absolutely. And I understand that y'all will have a table at the Columbus County Fair that's coming up. So if folks are interested or have any, if they want to pick up some information,
Yes.
talk to you guys, y'all will completely be accessible there. So,
Yes.
because you're right. I mean, I think a lot of people just really don't think about it, but there's a whole population there that could be tapped into and are very successful in the workplace, given the proper training,
Correct.
which is where y'all come into place, right?
Absolutely.
So, tell me again where your office is located. You said next to Tropical Tans and
Downtown
Whiteville.
Whiteville. It's 615 South Madison Street. So
And what are your hours?
we are there 8 to 5.
8 to 5. So, is there anything else about vocational rehab that you'd like to share with folks that maybe we hadn't talked about? Because some people may just not know the services that you provide. So, I think it's so great that y'all come in and talk with us.
We just would like, everyone to know that if you have a disability that is preventing you from working and that you would like to work, that we would like for you to come in and discuss it with us.
Now, are there, you had mentioned the employers. Do y'all have any programs or anything that works with the employers to maybe teach them some techniques or how to have an inclusive workforce?
We do. We partner really closely with what we call our community rehabilitation programs, and they basically have job coaches that make sure our consumers are trained on that job. So they have already built in relationships with businesses out in the community, and when they see our job coach come in, they know that this person that she has brought to them understands that they have a limitation, will work around it, and the employer typically they will work with our job coach on making sure that any accommodations they need in that workplace are implemented.
Gotcha. Well, that's great.
Yeah, it is.
Y'all offer so much. I mean,
Yes.
I've learned a lot in just the few minutes that we've been talking.
And we also have the Windmills Training, which teaches employers how to work with individuals with disabilities and the incentives that comes with working that come with employing people with disabilities.
So again, if anybody has any questions, or if we've got some business owners that might be tuning in,
Yes.
that want to tap into your resources, give me that phone number just one more time.
910-788-5200.
Perfect. All right, Brandon and Ella, thank you so much for coming in today.
Thank you.
It was
Thank
a
you for having
pleasure
us.
to have you on campus, and thank you for all of the great services that you provide at Vocational Rehab. It's much appreciated and so beneficial to our community, so thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
As always, thank you so much for tuning in. We here at Southeastern Community College certainly do appreciate your support. So make sure you swing by again so you can see how we are continuing to open doors for opportunities here at Southeastern Community College.